Hello everyone, I have a new stitch today, and this I call my little critter stitch. And the reason I call it that because to me it looks like the face of a little animal. You've got the little cheeks right there and the little nose, maybe some bunny ears, maybe kitty ears or bear ears or whatever. But I just feel like this little section right here kind of looks like a little face. There's a little mouth in there, and after I came up with it I thought, oh, it looks like a little animal, so I called it the little critter stitch. And I'm going to show you how to do this stitch, and hopefully you'll be able to use it in some of your projects and share with me what you've done. Okay, we're going to start this stitch using the knotted crochet cast on. I have another video posted showing you how to do this. I'm going to do it real quickly. But if you want more detail on how to do it, you can. I'll put the link in the video description, and you can go there to see a slower pace. And we're just going to start this with our standard slip knot, and we're going to slip it onto our holding peg. We're going to go down into the loom, slip this yarn onto our holding peg. Okay, and then to start this cast on, you're going to come around the back of the first peg and then wrap around the front again. So you've got two wraps. You're going to come up from the bottom with your hook, pull your yarn down, and flip it over to the back of the peg. And that's your new slip knot right there. Okay? And then we're going to do what's called the crochet cast on. By doing that, we're going to wrap this peg again, come up from the bottom with our hook, pull the yarn down again, except this time we're going to flip it back over the next peg, snug it up, and then we're going to do a front wrap flat knit. And I didn't get all my yarn. And then we're going to snug this up so that you have a little knot in between your two pegs. Okay? One more time, around the back to the front, come up from the bottom, pull your yarn down, flip it over backwards, snug it up, do a front flat knit, snug that up so that your knot is between the two pegs. And that's your knotted crochet cast on. So I'm just going to do a few more of these, and I'm going to cast on an even number of pegs. You're going to want to cast on sets of 2 for the total number of rows that you want of this stitch, plus 2 additional pegs. It's always going to be an even number. So I'm going to finish casting on 10 pegs, and then we'll be back. Okay, so just to reiterate, we've had the knotted crochet cast on and 1 row of the chainmail stitch, and now we're going to start the little critter stitch. And the first step, it's done in 3 row sections, so each group of critter stitches takes 3 rows, and we're going to start. The first row is going to be a 2 peg E-wrap stitch, and we're going to do that. I got my little straw here to make life easier. We are going to wrap 2 pegs at a time. I'm not left-handed, so I'm trying to do this left-handed. I'm useless with my left hand. So we wrap 2 pegs, and then we wrap the end peg. So you've got 2 pegs, 2 peg, 2 peg, 2 peg, and then you're just going to E-wrap the end peg, and then you're just going to yarn over all of these pegs. Okay, so that is the first row. Now what you need to do is you need to flip your loom up, and if you look on the back, you see got these big long sections of yarn stretched across the back. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the starting end of the row. You're going to go in 2 pegs, and you're going to find this first long yarn and pull it over the 3rd peg in. And then you're going to skip a peg, and you're going to do that again. Skip a peg, and you're going to do it again. Now you're not going to do it on this peg, because if you look at the back of your yarn, you'll see this extra strand of yarn is very short, and by the time you take your project off the loom you won't even see the difference. But at the end, when we're all done, I'll show you a piece done without this step and you'll see why we need to do it, okay? Now after you flip every other peg over, you're just going to do an E-wrap knit. Should have put my camera on the other side of my table. And again, you're going to end on the last peg is always going to be an E-wrap knit, and then you're just going to yarn over each peg. Now here you've got 2 strands of yarn. You're just going to go 2 over 1, 2 over 1, 2 over 1. Okay, that is the second row, and then for the last row for the stitch you're going to do the purl over. And again, the purl over is coming up from the bottom, pulling your yarn down and purling it over the back of your peg. That's all there is to it. Pull the yarn down, purl it over the back of your peg. Pull it down, purl it over the back. It's very simple. You just pull that yarn down, purl it over the back, give it a tiny little snug. You don't want it very tight, otherwise the next row will be very difficult to knit over. And again, every row ends with an E-wrap knit. Those are the 3 steps to completing one section of the critter stitch. So from here you would just start over again with your 2 peg wrap. So again, trying to do this left-handed, you're going to wrap 2 pegs and end with an E-wrap and yarn over. Now again, notice that we're working in the opposite direction this time. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to look for this extra long yarn in the back, go into the 3rd peg from the beginning of this row, pull that over to the front of your peg. Every other peg is going to have 2, with the exception of the second to the last peg. So always start the direction that you started this 2 peg wrap in is the direction. You're going to go 3 into the 3rd peg and pull this yarn over the top, and then do every other peg with the exception of the second to the last peg. And I hope I'm making myself clear. It's been a while since I've done a video. And then we're going to we're just going to do the E-wrap. I'm sorry, I'm just not any good with my left hand. And yarn over. Again, 2 over 1. Okay, just like so, and then the purl over. So again, now I'm working backwards. You're going to go up with your needle, your hook, pull it down, flip it over the back. Up with your hook, pull down, purl over the back. Up, down, over. Up, down, over. Up, down, there we go. Over. Up, down, over. and then end with an E-wrap. Okay, and that's it. It's those three. So it's a 2-peg wrap in one direction, flipping your yarn from the back to the front, then doing an E-wrap, and then doing a purl over.